my name is Adilene Villanazul. Thank you for clicking into this video to come meet me. If you know me from a previous video, welcome back. What, girl? Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned from my experiences with job interviews and how I was able to get a corporate job at the age of 17. A lot of people who know me, like just I guess know who I am, know that about me, and I'm pretty sure they wonder how I did that. So I'll go ahead and share that with you in this video, as well as, like I said, just kind of advice and information that I have from the different training that I've had with job interviews. Before anything, I want to make sure and just kind of disclaimer, whatever you call it, that I do not consider myself an expert in job interviews. I have been fortunate enough to receive training from my teachers in high school because of a program that I was in that I'll be telling you about here shortly. I have been through several real job interviews, and I feel like I know what to expect and what has happened in these interviews, and I just wanted to share that with you in case you haven't been through that experience yet. You won't just kind of be a deer in the headlights. Is that a saying? Man, I should really stay away from dichos en inglés because I only know the ones in Spanish. In high school, I was a part of an organization by the name of Future Business Leaders of America. We called it FBLA. Basically, it was an organization where you had what you called advisors, and they would basically help you with whatever you needed school related. But the big thing for FBLA were competitions towards the end of the year. There were competitions for all sorts of things. I was very interested in more real world things, I like to say, so I competed in the event of job interview. When I decided to do this, I was presented with multiple documents from previous competitors of what their cover letters looked like, how they set up the resumes and all that stuff. So I had the guidance that I'm about to share with you, and I feel like I should kind of pay it forward. Like I said, I did compete in the competition or event of job interview. Thankfully, I say this, I get really excited when I say this because I seriously would have never in a million years thought that I would have done this, but I placed first place in the state of Arkansas my senior year. I was really excited. I actually qualified to go compete in Anaheim, California, but at that time Jesus and I were moving out like a month later, and that was like a $2,000 expense, which I felt like we could use for other things, and I already felt like that was part of high school that I wanted to leave behind. So I made the decision not to go, but yay me. As far as how I got into corporate America at such a young age, this also has a lot to do with the teachers that I had during high school. A lot of the teachers in my high school had almost like were partners with different corporations in our area. So these corporations basically extended internships to students who wanted to work part-time while they were going to high school. I applied to multiple I guess jobs, companies in the area, and I was more interested in Walmart, not only because it was technology, but I don't know, I just was interested in that one. So I ended up applying for it. They actually had to run my background, do blood tests and all of that stuff. I didn't think I was going to get called because 2 months went by without me hearing anything from them, and then it was like actually exactly 2 months and I got a call. I was like eating or something, and it was a random number. I don't usually pick up like random number calls, but I picked this one up and it was them extending me a job offer. I was so excited that you have no idea, because I really never thought that I would have landed a job like that, because I had, like, out of all of the technical people at that point in my life, I was the least technical person ever, but they provided me with all of the training necessary. So if you are intimidated by a job that you think is maybe a little bit like out of your league, go ahead and apply. A lot of companies are more than willing to help you train to make you competent for that job. So don't be afraid, go ahead and apply and hope for the best. All right, now to the actual interview information. The information that I'm about to share with you now is actually directly from the rating sheets that I was evaluated with during the mock interviews for the competitions that I was a part of. So basically this is how, like, they have a checklist and they would rate me 1 to 10 on how well I did in this category. This is for the documents and the job interview part of the interview. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is basically from that, and I do want to say that although this is specifically for an organization that was not real, you could say, I learned a lot from this information that I'm about to share with you, and this is how I went ahead and proceeded with the interviews that I was in in the real world. As far as the documents go, these documents you actually need to have ready way before a job interview. You're actually gonna need to submit these whenever you apply for a job. That will be your cover letter, your resume, and your references. I'm going to try to find a way to link in the description of this video a copy of my documents that I used for when I was doing all the competitions and interviews and all of that stuff, so you can get an idea of how to format them. I don't know if it'll let me like link PDFs. Hopefully it does, and if so, you can find them in the description. Okay, for the cover letter, I do have my computer here because I don't want to miss out on any information because I'm trying to be cool and like memorize all of this stuff. I would rather you have everything you need to know. Okay, so as far as the cover letter, they were looking for me to state the job I was applying for. So once you read the document, you'll understand a little bit more the flow of the information that I'm giving you. So make sure you're stating the job that you're applying for. Promote yourself in the letter. Tell them what you're able to do, what your skills are. Have you gotten any awards, anything like that that pertains to the job that you're applying for. Make sure they know, and it's listed in the body of your cover letter. Towards the end of your cover letter, go ahead and basically mention that you have enclosed your resume and references, and ask for a job interview. It's okay to do that. You'll see how you're able to do that and still not seem very pushy in the document that I'll link in the description. Okay, as far as your resume, they will be looking for you to create the document with the job that you're applying for specifically in mind. So basically only list stuff that has to do with the interview. If you're applying for a technology job, don't list like experience in the food industry if it doesn't really have much to do. They're looking for it to be easy to read, that your font is professional, that you can distinguish your categories very well. Again, the resume will be linked down below. Make sure it looks clean. Just use common sense and Google. Google will be your best friend now too. One thing that I did want to make sure I mention is to have someone proofread your document. I am the type of person that would rather reach out to someone who I don't know to help me with things like that than someone that I do, just because I feel like someone that knows you may not want to tell you the truth because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's so much better to get to know the reality of your paper. So I would go to maybe like a teacher that you don't know or someone and just tell them, hey, can you look over this and tell me if there's any errors, because they won't care. They'll just tell you if you're wrong or not. Make sure that someone else proofreads your documents, because even when you are proofreading your document yourself, your brain kind of thinks it knows what is on the paper, and you might not catch those mistakes even when you're proofreading. So go ahead and reach out to someone to help you proofread your documents so that you don't make any mistakes. Now to the interview. Okay. This is basically how it goes down. So you go in the room, you introduce yourself, you sit down, they ask you questions, you're supposed to ask them questions, you shake hands and you leave. That's it. But there is some technicalities that I'll explain to you now and what they may be looking for in you whenever you're presenting yourself. So let me share that with you. Like I said, the first thing you're gonna do, make sure that when you introduce yourself, you're smiling and you shake their hand firmly. It's very important to shake their hand firmly. I'm sure you have noticed this too whenever you shake, like even just to someone that you know, when you see them out in the streets or something, and you shake their hand and it's like a flimsy handshake, you know that that person's either not in a good mood, they didn't really want to say hi to you. You can just tell. It kind of sets the mood for the conversation that's about to happen. So if it's a firm handshake and you're smiling, I feel like it's a good start to the interview, and it's already, it just makes it a million times better. I've heard, I personally don't think it's true, but that the first 10 to 20 seconds, basically, they can already tell if they're going to be hiring you or not. So that's something to think about. After the introduction, don't just stop there as far as how you carry yourself. Nonverbal communication is very important in these interviews, because basically you're just sitting there answering the questions that they're asking you, and when they're speaking and they're trying to get information from you and you're just not really looking at them, or you're like slouching back or anything like that, it kind of makes you look like you're not really that interested. So sit up straight, put your hands in your lap, make sure that you're looking at them in the eyes. If they crack any jokes, even if they're not funny, laugh. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, right? Just make sure that they feel like you are communicating with them even when you're not actually speaking with them. So it's very important whenever you're going to a job interview to dress professionally. Maybe whenever you're going, it just depends on the job that you're going to, but if you dress professionally, it just is another thing that they're like, okay, this person knows where he's coming to. So these last couple of basically bullet points that I'm gonna share, they're not bullet points for you, they're bullet points for me that I'm sharing with you as I'm elaborating, but I feel like these were very specific to what the FBLA judges were looking for, but if you can nail all of these, it will look even better for you. So one of the things that they're really looking for as far as how you communicate is how well you understand and you are able to respond to these questions. You will really be in a bad position if you've never taken the time to Google or ask anyone about what type of questions will be in the interview. So for example, some of the ones that you'll always get asked for sure no matter what is, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Tell me about a situation where there was a conflict and you were able to resolve it. Things like that, if you have given thought to those questions, it'll be so much easier for you to respond to the person who's interviewing you as opposed to someone who's never even thought about these questions and literally has to come up with an answer on the spot. So I think it really helps. Like I said, Google these questions. Google, I feel like I was very distrustful of Google when I was doing like my research for job interviews and stuff, but now that I've actually been through the interviews, it's pretty accurate. Most of the questions that are on there are really, they're good. I mean, they're good. I can't find another word. Okay, so like I said when I told you what was going to happen, they're going to ask their questions. There's going to be a point where you're going to be asked if you have any questions. Ask questions. Come prepared with questions to ask. Some of the questions that I was kind of encouraged to ask when I was being educated on the matter is to ask if they had any training available, and if they did have training, how often would they be willing to train me? Do they have paid holidays? Do they offer benefits? Why is the position open? Is this position constantly open and you're gonna hate your job in a couple of weeks and you're gonna drop it too? What else is another one? Sorry, these are like really specific ones. So, oh yeah, what is a day like for a person in this position? So basically, you're trying to understand what you're going into, and for them, it'll make them feel like you're actually interested in the position and the type of work you'll be doing, rather than, oh, I need money, can you hire me? Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sitting down and watching it. Like I said towards the beginning of the video, I feel very fortunate to have had the exposure to job interview at such an early, I feel, stage in my life, and the extra training from the teachers that was supporting me when I was trying to create like my resume and my cover letter, and I didn't know anything. But now that I do know, I'm excited to be sharing with you this information. Okay. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. Feel free to leave a comment and I can respond. I think I already said this in the video, but I'm going to try to leave the documents that I've used in the description, so go ahead and check those out. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I feel so excited. I have been planning to do this video for weeks now, but I knew I had to record a video for this week, so I knew I wanted to record this one, and I'm talking all over the place. I hope to see you on my channel next week. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your week.